Welcome back to the Optimized Career Solutions YouTube channel. I'm hopefully your favorite career coach, Kara Dennison. And this month, the month of February in the year 2024, we have been talking about falling in love with your career again. And if you are like me, in a couple of places in my career, you might be feeling way too burnt out to even think about falling in love with your career again. You might be watching this, you might be saying, Kara, are you kidding me? I'm ready to pack up, go to a deserted island, and never return again. And if you're feeling that way, you might be feeling burnt out. And so I saved this topic for the end of the month because if you've been trying all of the other strategies that we've been giving you for the last month, and you just cannot even fathom the idea of falling back in love with your career or even just waking up and driving to work tomorrow, then this episode is for you. We're talking, like I said, about burnout, and I want to help you recognize what burnout is, give you some techniques and some tools to help you overcome burnout or get you to that next stage where you can start recovering from burnout, and give you some tips, right, to recognize what burnout is, help you recover, and share a little bit of my story as well with you. So let's talk about some of the stages of burnout, what it is, what to be aware of, and help you kind of give that check-in with yourself to say, am I burnt out or am I just feeling stressed? Is a vacation going to fix it, or is that just slapping a band-aid on it? So let's talk first about some of the early burnout signs to be aware of about what burnout is, and for you to start getting self-aware for yourself and say, hey, is this burnout or am I just feeling stressed? Is it a tough week or is it a tough chapter in my career, and I need to really be aware. So some of the signs of burnout, let's talk about the emotional symptoms of burnout, right? You're going to start feeling drained, right? Experiencing a lack of enthusiasm for your work. You're going to be increased irritability, right? And you might start feeling that sense of detachment from your job where you're going in, you're starting to feel a little bit like a robot, and you're not mentally, emotionally, maybe even, aware that you're even at work, right? This might be something where you haven't always felt that way, right? I'm not just talking about, oh, there's a project that I don't really want to focus on, or I'd rather be playing this video game at home. This is I'm starting to really feel drained. I'm really starting to dread going into work. Everyone that's talking to me, whether it's people that I love or not, are really starting to get me irritated, and I'm really detaching from this. I can't find any joy, not even in getting my paycheck anymore, right? Some physical symptoms that might start coming in is chronic fatigue, right? You're not feeling at all, you can never get enough sleep. Maybe your sleep is even getting disturbed, right? You're getting insomnia, you're restless, those types of things. Maybe you're finding that you're frequently getting ill, right? You're sick all the time. Your immune system is kind of shot, right? Maybe you even start making jokes about it. Oh, I'm always sick, right? These can often be overlooked as just regular stress-related issues, but if they're constantly happening, your sleep is always disturbed, you're never getting a full night's sleep, you can't sleep at all, and you're always constantly getting sick, that can be indicative of a problem, right? And when it comes to your work itself, right, the work performance, decreased productivity, things that took you no time at all, maybe a couple minutes, a couple hours, they're starting to take you a very long time. You just can't get the motivation up. You can't get through it. If you're feeling really sluggish, you're starting to feel ineffective. You're starting to feel really devalued because you just can't seem to get through there. You've got that lack of accomplishment going, and tasks that were previously manageable, they feel like climbing a mountain to get through. These are some signs that indicate that there might be a need of a change, right? And I want you to take it from me, right? I was at this point in my career where I loved my job. I moved all the way from Pennsylvania down to Florida. I was originally in New York and then I was in Pennsylvania, whatever, it doesn't matter. I went down to Florida for this job that I absolutely fell in love with. For years in this role in human resources, I did a lot of things there. I trained every manager in the company. I implemented an applicant tracking system, an onboarding system, a performance management system. I trained every manager in how to conduct effective interviews. I helped grow this company 3 times its size. It was a great job and I felt so much fulfillment in it. And I loved going into work. I loved my boss. And unfortunately, things changed, right? Leadership changed. Leadership made some decisions that I didn't really agree with. And all of a sudden, I just started feeling really dissatisfied, really detached. I was working for a promotion that just never came for years. And I just started feeling like I was getting lied to and just overworking, and all of my work, no matter what I was doing, was never enough. And I didn't recognize the signs because no one was telling me what burnout was. I didn't understand what it was. And so I just kept working and working and thinking maybe I kept putting it on myself. Maybe if I worked harder, I would be better. But my productivity kept kind of suffering. I was not sleeping. I was so anxious that I was actually throwing up every single morning. I would wake up and I would be in a panic. I would be anxious about work. I would throw up every morning. I would be late. My appearance, I just felt like I was always disheveled, even though I would be putting on makeup and everything. I just didn't feel like I was myself. I didn't feel confident. And what ended up happening is I was getting migraines. I was getting migraines a lot, and they were increasing and increasing and increasing. And I ended up getting a migraine that lasted for 6 weeks, every single day. Like, I would take medication and every day I would have a migraine over and over again. And I honestly thought that there was something wrong with me, like severely wrong, maybe a tumor or something. And so I went into a specialist and I got all the MRIs, I got everything done. And it wasn't until I had someone in a white coat tell me, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't have anything in your brain. This is from the stress that you're experiencing at work. And until you change something, you are going to continue to run yourself into the ground. And that was a huge wake-up call for me, because I was working 60, 70-hour weeks and I wasn't getting paid nearly enough for that. And no one was helping me out of that situation. I had to help myself. And so I ended up taking some time off of work and healing myself, sleeping, figuring it out. And it was at that point that I stopped having those headaches and those migraines. And it was a big light bulb moment for me. And it shifted everything for me in my life. I realized no one should be working that hard in an environment that doesn't suit them anymore. And for me, what I was realizing was, hey, this company was so great. It was my dream job at one point. I loved it. I had a great boss. And yeah, sure, things have changed and I don't have that boss anymore and my team isn't that more, but maybe I could get back there. And what I realized is I was too afraid to make a change. I was too afraid to go into a job search, that I was holding on to something that just wasn't there anymore. It just wasn't there anymore. And I was trying to make something work, and I was taking all of the reasons why it wasn't working onto myself, instead of realizing that the company had changed and I'm no longer a fit for this company. And I was trying to fit so hard a square peg into a round hole that it was burning me out and it was killing me. And that's when I left and I started my business. And I didn't want anyone to end up like that ever again. And then I started my business, and 3 years later, I burnt out again, and I ended up in the hospital again. And what I realized this time is I brought a lot of those old patterns that I had learned in corporate, working 15, 16-hour days, not even kidding, in my business, because I had learned those habits in a toxic work environment, and I brought it into my business. And unfortunately, I couldn't quit my business, right? I loved my business. I had a passion and an intrinsic value towards helping people, but I couldn't keep working the way that I was. And so when I ended up in the hospital the second time, it was because I had some internal problems that stemmed from years of sustained anxiety and stress and living in a extended burnout stage for years. And that's why I speak about this often on podcasts and in videos like this, is because your body cannot sustain being in an extended burnout stage for as long as I did before it will start having problems. And that's what I'm dealing with now. And I'm grateful because I have learned the lesson and now I get to teach you. And so what I have learned, and some of the lessons that I had to unlearn, is that whether you have your business or you're working a job, you have to be able to take time to unlearn some of the bad habits that maybe you created for yourself, like I did, right? Trying to fit something like a square peg into a round hole, or work somewhere where you're no longer aligned, right? Out of fear of change, fear of trying something new. And if that's where you are, well, hey, we can help you. We can help you try and find a new job if that's something that you want to do, or we can help you rework some of those limiting beliefs, because that's what we've done. And so when I went through that really tough time, I reframed what my definition of success looks like. I reframed what boundaries look like around my work, around my time, around my work-life balance. And I redefined what it looks like to show up for my clients. And I've helped my clients redefine what it looks like for them to show up in their corporate jobs too, and find more life out of life, right? So when it comes to you and some strategies for overcoming burnout, if you find yourself in a situation that maybe is not as extreme as mine, but maybe you're feeling like, hey, I'm getting some warning signs, I'm not sleeping as well, I'm starting to feel a little anxious when it comes to my job, or I'm starting to feel sick, I want you to start thinking of ways that you can implement some changes in your life in order to prevent burning out, because it will take a toll on you physically and mentally and emotionally, etc. So some changes that you can make in your workplace. If you are at this burnout place where you feel like you're taking on too much and you don't have enough time, energy, etc. to complete it, try negotiating some of your workload. It's okay to discuss your workload with your leader, your manager, your supervisor, but be prepared first, right? Prepare a list of your current responsibilities, your projects, and propose some realistic adjustments. Ask for some help and be very clear. This is what I have on my plate. This is how long it's taking me. Here's the expectations and I need them adjusted. Can you help me out, right? If you are able to and you're in the position to, delegate certain tasks, extend certain deadlines, make your workload more manageable. And the end, some of the things that you have to think through is, hey, I can either extend a deadline here or delegate this out or ask for help here, or I'm going to get taken out and none of this is going to get done. So figure out a way that you can ask for help, either by delegating it out or asking your leader to help you delegate things out. Additionally, if you're struggling by asking for a return to work, or you've been asked for a return to work and that's not working for you, go to your HR, go to your leader, seek a flexible arrangement or remote work, and present a plan about how this is going to help you complete things and get things done depending on what your schedule looks like and how it will improve productivity, and set a plan in place. Hey, I would like to try this for the next 30 or 60 days. This is what I'm predicting my productivity is going to look like. Here are the goals that I'm predicting are going to meet. If it doesn't work out the way I predict, let's reevaluate in 60 days, right? Some other things that you might want to try are adjusting some of your lifestyle things, right? A lot of times, if you are having trouble saying no to taking on additional things at work, you might be having trouble saying no to taking on additional things in your personal life. I know for me, that was a problem. So when it comes to your lifestyle and things outside of work, having time for yourself, recouping, resting, prioritizing sleep is going to be your priority. This means don't check your emails after work hours. This means maybe saying no to things that you're on the fence about. Maybe even saying no to things that you want in lieu of taking care of yourself and getting that sleep in, right? Maybe it also means saying yes to hobbies and social activities that are going to fill your soul and a part of yourself that really needs that interaction, depending on if you're extroverted or introverted. Some other things that are really going to help you out is some mindfulness and relaxation techniques. When we're in that burnout phase, it feels like we're still going, our minds are still going, even though our bodies are done for, right? So getting in a quiet place where our bodies can rest and then we can rest our minds through mindfulness, relaxation, and meditation is going to be a really good, helpful tool to add to your tool belt. A good mindfulness way to do this is by really focusing on the present moment and being aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Without judgment, it sounds so easy, but it's going to be probably the hardest part because our brains are constantly trained to make judgments about situations. Is this safe? Is this not safe? Do we want to move forward? Do we not want to move forward? Right? So by really getting present in the current moment without judgment and just thinking and feeling the feelings that you have is a great way to manage stress and overall well-being. A good mindfulness exercise that you can do is box breathing. It's going to be in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. So you can think of making a box, right? So you're going to go in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and you're just going to keep making that box. If you do that about 4 to 6 times, you'll notice that your system is regulating and you're calming down. Another technique that's very popular for calming anxiety and getting in a more mindful place is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. So that's going to be 5 things that you can see. So if you're looking at my screen, you might be saying, oh, I can see a tree, I can see that, I can see a leopard print blazer, I can see a microphone, and I can see Kara's glasses. Okay, great. 4 things that you can touch. Now, for me, in my environment, I can touch my blazer, I can touch my rings, I can touch my glasses, I can touch my hair, I can touch my phone. Okay, great. Actually, I think that was 5 instead of 4. 3 things that you can hear. For me, I can hear the hum of my computer. If I listen really closely, I can hear Jack talking in the other office. I can hear my own breathing. It's good, right? 2 things that you can smell. I can smell the lotion that I recently put on. I can smell coffee. Okay, great. And 1 thing I can taste. And I can taste coffee breath. Okay, great. So now I've done the grounding technique and I feel a little bit more present in my present moment. I would love to know in the comments, do you feel a little more present? Did you do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique? Let me know. Both of these exercises, they're really helpful to help you flip from your amygdala into your frontal cortex, or from that lizard brain to that executive brain, right? That amygdala, or the primitive part of the brain, or the lizard brain, is really that basic part of your brain that helps you with things like emotions, fear, aggression. It's reactive. It operates on instinct. And that's the thing that really triggers that fight or flight response. The executive brain, or the prefrontal cortex rather, it's responsible for the rational thinking. It's the decision making. It's the problem solving. It's what you want in the driver's seat, right? So when we're reactive, when we're really in that hyper arousal state of just kind of fear and anxiety, we're going to be making some really snap judgment decisions. We're going to be reacting. We're going to be in that fight or flight. But doing this box breathing, or the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique, it's going to help get us into that executive decision making prefrontal cortex mode. And that's the one that you want in the driver's seat in order to make the decisions that are going to affect the rest of your life, right? Here are a couple other tools to add to your tool belt to really help you decompress, really get you into the right mode that you want to be in, and help release some of that stress chemical to get out of that burnout mode, right? The progressive muscle relaxation one is a real fun one to get you, and it helps kind of put you to sleep too. But what you want to do is you want to tense and relax each muscle group in your body. You're going to want to start at the toes. So you're going to tense up all your toes and relax. You want to tense up your legs and your calf muscles and relax, then your thighs. Then you're just going to breathe in and out as you do this, and you're going to move all the way up, right? What this does is it kind of puts your whole body into a state of relaxation, starting from down at your toes all the way up, so that by the time you get up to your head, you're going to feel so relaxed, and it's going to kind of also regulate your system. Another great one for visualization, those who really like the visualization techniques, is to really close your eyes and imagine a happy place, a peaceful place. For me, mine is a beautiful, beautiful lake surrounded by mountains that's just serene. And what you want to do to get really present is spend some time there. What do you see? What do you hear? Do you hear the birds, right? Some people picture a beach, right? Do you smell like the salty water in the air? How does it feel? Do you feel the sun on your face, right? This is going to help, again, calm you down and get you flipped into that executive thinking. And remember, if your mind wanders while you're doing any of this, that's okay. It's okay. Gently bring yourself back into focus for some of these activities. Now, all of these things are great techniques and tools to add to your toolbox, but you're going to probably be facing some challenges. Your mind is going to be racing. Your thoughts are going to be racing. You might not be able to sit still. You might even have increased stress levels at the very beginning. So I just want you to be aware of this. Doesn't mean that you're a failure. Doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong. This is just a reminder that you are at the beginning and you will get better with practice. Our brains are in an overactive state when we're feeling burnout and we're in that fight or flight mode. And so this is just a way that we are retraining our brains and we're creating new neural pathways. Maybe these are not the techniques that you want. Potentially, there are some other ways to help with burnout and get your mind refocused on other things besides continually focusing and hyper focusing on what the problem is, right? Which is your burnout and your stress. There might be some creative outlets, right? Like painting or drawing or writing or journaling, getting in nature, listening to podcasts or music, or even dancing and physical activities like working out. I love dancing. So dancing's a big one for me. I like to turn on music and just dance in my office when I'm feeling like I just need to get some stuff out, right? So those are a couple of techniques to help you. But listen, if you're feeling some serious physical signs of burnout, like I was, or if you are feeling some emotional and mental signs of this burnout and it's taking a toll, like I mentioned, the stress, the anxiety, potential depression, other physical ailments, like I mentioned, I had a lot of pain in my abdomen, I had migraines, things like that. Sometimes those might be indicative of further stages of burnout than just those initial early warning signs, right? And sometimes while these techniques and these tools are great to add to your toolbox in order to maintain those healthy levels of stress mitigation, you might be too far in your burnout stage, like I was, that just doing a meditation or some box breathing isn't going to be enough. I highly recommend, if you're there, please go seek a professional, whether that's a mental health professional like a therapist or an actual doctor professional for your physical ailments. Like I saw a neurologist for my migraines. I went to a gastroenterologist and the ER and things like that for some of my things. So I highly, highly ask you, please, if you are feeling physical discomfort, stress, heart issues are some of the leading causes of death for women, please make sure that you are going and getting the help that you need. This is a very serious problem. Don't be the hero. Don't be the hero and just believe that you can go and tough it out because people are counting on you. When you tough it out and you ignore these warning signs, unfortunately, people will not be able to count on you if you are not here. Please make sure that you fill up your cup first and you take care of yourself first and foremost before you go and take care of other people, okay? Burnout is a very serious issue, and I really, really want to make sure that not only are you aligned in your jobs and you're feeling fulfilled in your careers and falling in love with them, of course, but if you're past that and it's at that stage, please make sure that you are taking care of yourself and your health and well-being come first. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the Optimized Career Solutions YouTube channel, where we drop a new video every single week to help provide value for you to live a better life, usually starting with your career. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week.